Hello everyone, I am Jamal Nasir and welcome to CS 101 Introduction to Programming in Java. So, this is our second lecture, and if you haven't watched our first lecture, so please go to the playlist named as Introduction to Java Programming and do watch lecture 1. So, in the previous lecture, we discussed course learning objectives. So, first objective is computational thinking, which is decomposition of a bigger problem into subproblems. Then functionality, working solution of these subproblems. Control structures, it includes methods, loops, conditions. Data abstraction is variables, parameters, arrays, classes. So we will study all of these things in this course. And finally, code quality. Programs that are well written, readable, maintainable, and conform to established standards. So this is code quality. What is complexity? Programming is straightforward as long as your programs are small, but that complexity is our enemy, right? How we can tackle that complexity? So abstraction is the key to conquering complexity. So in this lecture, we will see what is abstraction. So abstraction allows us to build general purpose artifacts. It includes detail removal, hide unnecessary details from users and designers. And second thing is generalization, avoid unnecessary repetitive work. So these are the two most important ingredients of abstraction: detail removal and generalization. So learning to reason using the most appropriate abstraction is a key goal of computational thinking. So this is very important concept, that what would be the most appropriate abstraction of your program. So this is a main goal of computational thinking. So abstraction in terms of detail removal. What is detail removal? The act or process of leaving out of consideration one or more properties of a complex object so as to attend to others. So technically we hide unnecessary details from the users. That's why they can use things, right? So for example, if you want to go from one city to another city, then obviously the name of each shop is not important for you. So that map will hide um, street names, or even they will not show you trees or something, right? But obviously this uh, detail removal wouldn't be good if you want to find some particular shop in a street, right? Then this thing would be different. Okay, so you have to decide which details should be removed from the system for the for a particular user, or which details should be there, but it should be minimum. Okay, just like in a car, when you are driving, you don't have to consider what's going on behind this pedal, accelerate or brake, right? Because we know that behind this pedal or brake, there is a complex system, right? So we don't want to show details, all the stuff. So this sort of thing is abstraction. This is a barrier that you don't want to show all the details to your user. Another aspect is generalization, the process of formulating general concepts by abstracting common properties of instances. Okay, so you have to make your program or code or solution uh, as much as generalized, so that it can be used in different scenarios. Okay, and we can see different examples in our real life. That's why we have extensible uh, shower rods, so that like if your height is long, you can adjust that rod, right? Or adjustable heads according to the size of the head. And single recipe for fruit milkshake. That fruit could be mango, that fruit could be banana or apple, right? but the milkshake recipe would be same. You have to peel it, you have to cut it, you have to put down in a blender and add milk or sugar, right? So procedure would be same, only the particular fruit name would be changing, particular food would be changing. Okay. Similarly, if you are farming some animals on a farm, you have to feed that animal. Then obviously to feed animal, put animal food in an animal dish. So this animal thing is generalization. So this is generalization. So you are going to learn to write functions like in math class. This is generalization. Like if someone says square root of x, what does it mean? That the value of x could be any. It could be 2, 10, 20, 50. The output should be y, should be the square root of x. So this is generalization. Just like in our calculators, we don't have keys for every number. We only have keys from 0 to 9 digits, right? And we can make digits, we can make any length digits that are allowable on the calculator, right? And we can add them, we can subtract them. So this is generalization. So here x is the argument. So yeah, so just think about it. This is a square root machine where you can put any number in it, let's say 25, and what this machine will do, it will produce the output of square root of that number, which would be 5. So I will summarize abstraction. Abstraction is one of the most important challenges in computer science. How do you identify the right abstraction you need block to build to solve your problem? So yeah, think about computers. How many of you actually know how a computer works, right? And then how many of you can use a computer thanks to abstraction? So you can think like if Facebook has 2 billion users, do you think all of them, that 2 billion users, know how computer works? No, right? But they can use Facebook, they can use WhatsApp, they can use YouTube, they can use any computer application. So this is abstraction. That's why computers are famous or they are widely used, because they provide abstraction. They hide details from the users, and uh, they are based on generalization thing. So this is abstraction. So what is an algorithm? Computational thinking is to divide problems into subproblems. Then algorithm is a step-by-step procedure for solving each subproblem. So this is an algorithm. What is programming? What is a program? A set of instructions to be carried out by a computer. So 5 instructions, 5 steps. Like if you have to tell your computer that what to do in a in statement form, in steps form, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Okay, so this set of instructions is known as program. Program execution, the act of carrying out the instructions contained in a program. So after writing a program, we have to execute this program. Programming language, a systematic set of rules used to describe computations in a format that is editable by humans and obviously understandable by computers. So just like humans, we have different languages. So computer also have some programming languages. So we have to write instructions in their language. Java is one of them. So that's why we are studying this Java language in this course. So programming is just like Legos, blocks, right? And with the help of these blocks, we can make different things. We can make castles, we can make uh, houses, or we can make cars, anything, right? With the help of these blocks. So programming. So let's start with Java. how to build a Java program. I hope you would have installed some good IDE. It could be NetBeans, it could be Eclipse or IntelliJ, doesn't matter, because we would be writing programs in Java. So code and syntax and all the stuff would be same. So this is our first Java program, Hello World program. And you can see it's starting with a class name, right? Here the class name is hello, and then in a class we are defining one method which named as main, and then we are just printing hello world. And when we would be saving this file, it must be named as hello.java. Yeah, this hello in the file name must be matched with the class name. Okay, so this is very important, otherwise you would be getting errors, syntax errors. So how to run a program in Java? Obviously we have to write it, then we have to compile it, and then execute it. Okay, so 3 steps. So in writing, what we have to do is that we have to write a source code, just like the before that we see in the second last slide. It is a set of instructions. Then we have to compile it. So what it will be do is that, like, JDK compiler will translate a program from that human language into a bytecode. Okay, so that the Java compiler converts your code into a format named as bytecode that runs on many computer types. Okay, and after this compilation, technically Java C command, you provide Java C space file name dot java, and then it will compile it. If it has no errors, then you have to execute it. uh, so after the execution you will get the output. So the message is printed to the user by a program, or it will do the task that you mentioned in your source code. Okay, so Java command, Java file name would do this thing. So this is our program, this is our first program. This is a source code, and we save this file in a hello.java. Just keep in mind that Java is a case sensitive language. So hello should be same. In if it's capitalized, then the file name should be capitalized, right? Then we have to compile it with Java C command, and that Java C command will convert our hello.java file into hello.class file, and then we can execute that program. Okay, when we will execute this program, it will produce hello.world. So we can quickly write this code and test how to use it. So in NetBeans, I will go to File, New Project, Java, Java application, that's fine. We can name as lecture 2 code, and it will automatically create one main class, right? Lecture package 2 dot lecture 2, or we can simply change this name as hello. Okay, so this is package name. In later classes we will see what is package and how to make it, but uh, for this time being we can ignore it. Package is just a folder you can consider. So if we are putting one code in one folder, then we have to name this. Okay, so we can see this code is automatically generated. Here package name is just folder name, so don't worry about this thing. We will discuss this in later on lectures in detail. So you can see at your left this is a project directory, right? And in a source packages, they make one folder or one package, lecture.package2, and then there is one class hello.java. So this hello should be matched with the file name with this hello, right? And then here we can write, so this is a function, main function. So yeah, here we can write one line, system.out println hello world. So I can compile this code, compile file. I can directly run it, but it's good. You must know that, like, after writing a source code, you have to compile it. At the backend, they are using simple javac command in small javac space hello.java. Then I will compile it. Okay, so as there is no error, so it's fine. Now we can run it and we can see the output here, right? Hello world. So this is our very first program. So you can try by your own and you can add different things. Here we are just printing one string, okay? So, but you can print some other, if you know how to declare variables in Java, you can simply add some variables and print it. So this is the execution of our first program. We can see some bigger program. Here we are using different lines. Here we are adding 4 lines of code, right? Same code with class hello, public static void main string, and we are printing. Here we are not printing anything, but because of this new line ln thing, one empty line would be printed. Then second line, in the third line, this program produces 4 lines of code, or in the fourth line it will produce 4 lines of output. So when we will execute this program, we will get hello world. This program produces 4 lines of output, right? So if you want to try with the same code, we can simply use it. Here I'm not adding anything, right? So this is the third line. And this one is the fourth line. Okay, so I can simply run it. So you can see there are 4 lines. Second one is empty, but yeah. So structure of a Java program, as I told before, that we have some class name and then we have some statements in a function. So this is a class name, right? And file name should be matched with this class name. And a method. Method is a group of statements. We will discuss methods in very detail in next lectures. So yeah, statement is a simple one command to be executed. It's a one command, right? So every executable Java programs consist of a class that contains a method named main. So if you want your class to be executable in Java, you have to add that method named as main, okay? And obviously that main method would contain statements. It, it would contain different commands to be executed. So names, you must give your program a name, public class hello world, just like this. Naming convention is that capitalize each word. Like in hello world, there are two words, hello and world. So it's a good practice to join these. If you are joining these two words, then capitalize or init cap first letter uh, of every word should be capital. So here hello, in hello world, H and W are capital. So your program's file must match exactly as I told before, hello world.java. Okay, and Java is case sensitive language. Identifier, a name given to an item in your program. It could be method name, it could be class name, it could be variables name. So yeah, this is an identifier. It must start with a letter or underscore or dollar sign, nothing else. Okay, the starting character of any identifier in Java should be only these three things: letter, underscore, or dollar sign. Subsequent characters means after first characters, any character after first character can be any of those or a number. So it could be letter, it could be number, it could be underscore or dollar sign. So we will see some examples of legal identifier. Like this is a legal identifier. It's starting with underscore. That's fine. No problem with this identifier in Java. Starting with a capital letter T. Again, no problem because we can start any identifier with a letter, underscore, or a dollar sign. That's fine. This is also fine. And this is also fine. Illegal identifier, because we are using plus sign in the identifier, we cannot use any character. We can only use two characters in identifier, underscore and dollar sign. Again, this is illegal because we are starting with a digit 49, right? 4 is a digit. So we cannot start the name of identifier with a digit. Okay, here we are not starting with a digit side, but the problem is that we are using dash character, which is not allowed in Java identifier. PhDs, obviously that dot is not allowed. So these are the few keywords. What is a keyword? An identifier that you cannot use because it is already has a reserved meaning in Java. So in short, keywords are the reserved words that we cannot use because in Java they would have some meaning. Okay, so they are fixed. So in a first program, we have used few Java keywords like public, static, class, void. These are the Java reserved keywords, so we cannot use as identifier. Because Java is case sensitive, you can technically use class with capital C or C capital L A S S as identifiers, but this is very confusing and does strongly discourage. So please do not use keywords uh, like different variations of keywords in your programs. So let's revise what we have discussed in this lecture. Complexity versus abstraction. Complexity is our enemy. We have to divide our problems into subproblems, and with the help of abstraction we can hide details and generalization thing. We can cater this complexity problem. So this is abstraction, detail removal plus generalization. Then we saw one hello world program in a Java, and we also discussed structure of a Java program, names and identifiers, like they cannot start with any digit, they only start with a letter or underscore character or dollar sign character. Then finally, we discussed keywords, which are reserved words in Java. We cannot use that names of that keywords in our program as identifiers. Okay. So this is the end of this lecture. Practice makes a man perfect. So please do practice few short programs in Java. And if you have questions, comments, then please you can comment on YouTube video. Please share with your friends and keep learning. Bye bye.